Hey y'all, welcome to the channel. I'm Nia and this is Sensationally Designed and we love all things home. So if you like a good DIY, a thrift flip, a shop with me, and a cool little room makeover, well this is the place for you. Hit that like and subscribe button so that you don't miss an upload. And without further ado, let's get to it. So today we are working on these. I did a hack originally with these doors. First time ever making doors. You know, they were cute in the beginning, but I have a toddler, as you've seen his bedroom makeover. If you have not, please go back and watch that video. But as I've said before, I have a toddler boy, and yeah, baby boy done did his thing on these. Like, look at this. You see this? I have bought a fourth shelf, so I do have to assemble that. I'm thinking of adding some arches to it because if you know, you know. So when I was coming up with a design for these bookcases, there was a few things I had to have, and that was arched openings, a chalky white finish, fluted doors, and brass knobs. Am I the only parent that hides half their kids' Christmas gifts and bring them out little by little throughout the year as things break? It's toy overload and I just be overwhelmed. I'm like, yeah, I don't need all this right now. The difficulties in choosing a white chalky paint. After tons and tons of samples, moving them around in different lighting, up against different paints in the room, I finally made a decision and it was off to Home Depot. To create the fluted detail, I'll be using these half round moldings. My doors are going to be 30 inches, so I can get about 3 cuts from each stick, and I needed about 50 of them. After grabbing my sheets of MDF, I took them to the saw so that an employee can cut them down to size, which makes for less cutting for me at home and makes it much easier to transport. I unloaded all of my materials and that was a wrap for day one. I already have to repaint my son's room and the bathroom when I move out, and since the bookcase covers such a great portion of the wall, I thought it'd just be a little simpler if I put some peel and stick wallpaper up in this section and just painted over that. That way this back portion of the wall was cohesive with the bookcase and it would truly look like a built-in unit. But if you want to try this project and you do not want to do the step of this peel and stick wallpaper, IKEA does sell Billy bookcase extensions. Because I wanted the fluted doors and buying so many of those half rounds drove up the cost. Skipping this step for me kept the cost down. Your budget is larger, I would highly suggest buying the extensions. So here I am dry fit in my filler pieces, trying to see where the arches begin on my other sheet panel, and my measurements aren't right. It's not lining up. Like the filler piece wasn't actually sliding to the side in between that extra gap in the wall, and for the life of me I could not figure out what was going on. Mind you, I'm not a professional. I've never even done anything like this. I'm just a person with a vision who wanted to create something beautiful, right? And I was really getting frustrated because it was not working out. And one thing I can't stand is like when I can't figure out how to make my vision come to life. Like I was getting extremely deflated because it just wasn't making any sense. Future me here. So what I couldn't see while I was in the midst of that project that I could see now that I'm editing was that though my bookcase was level horizontally, it was not level vertically. This end of my house used to be a driveway, but at some point they renovated it, and that part of my house is at a slope. And I was just so frustrated. My anxiety wouldn't allow me to find a solution. I had to come up with a new plan. And I decided to create some L brackets that are held into the wall with a couple brad nails and some vertical posts that are only held together strictly by pressure. No screws, anything. I'm trying to keep this as renter friendly as possible because the less holes I have to fill, the less damage I have to do when I move out, the better. I really wish I could have seen that or realized that's what was going on when I was building this, because maybe I would have been able to save my original plan for a truly built-in look. But it's one of those things, you see hindsight, and when you're in it and you're frustrated, you just when you're in it, you can't see it. After some rest and stepping back from this project, the next morning I got back to work on creating those arches. I did that string method where you find the center and you go out the width you want it to be and you circle around to create the arches. I really wish I could have filmed that for y'all, but as y'all sense my frustration the previous day, it was not on camera. Now I'm just making sure the arches are going to line up with these posts so that when I shoot a nail through them, they actually have something to stick to. And once I realized that was a go, I began cutting out my arches. I used the first arch as a template to create the other three, and then when I used the brad nailer to nail the pieces to the brackets, I would hold the top and shoot at the bottom, and then hold the bottom and shoot at the top. This way it had some support because we know it's really only pressure that's holding these up, and brad nailers are pretty strong. I didn't want it to fall over. Each door measured about 30 inches, and so I can get 3 cuts from one stick. So now I'm just making my marks and making my cuts so that I can apply these to my door fronts. The doors are actually made from the MDF material that the arches are made from, and so these were cut down to size when I was at Home Depot. Now I'm just applying some construction adhesive. Excuse the struggle, that tube was not working properly. Now I'm just laying down the half rounds really snug to one another, pressing down really good into the adhesive to make sure they're sticking well. And I'll continue this process for all 8 doors. this project took days to complete. Between a full-time job, kids, and sports, and just living life, I think this was about 3 weeks total. I bet y'all can't guess how many outfit changes are in this video. Let me know in the comments how many outfits you think you're going to see before this video ends. Between not being able to go truly wall to wall like I intended and that slight gap between the bookcase and the ceiling, I decided to add this piece of trim so that it could look complete and have a more finished look. And of course, I had to do my most dreaded task of caulking. Can't stand it. It's time consuming, but it truly makes a difference in your finished product. And before I could paint, I had to sand and start priming. That way, the final coats of paint went on nice and even. It took about 3 coats of primer to cover up those peel and stick wallpapers, but 2 coats on everything else. I didn't think that space between the 2 cabinets would drive me crazy, but it did. So I added some drywall tape, and then I went over it with some spackling just to make it look like one truly built-in piece. It's probably not the most ideal way to do it. In other tutorials, I've seen people add a piece of trim, but I really wanted the arches and everything to truly seem as one. So I felt like this was the best way to give me that look. Once the spackling dried, I sanded it down, primed it, and then I went in with my first coat of paint. I decided to use a cabinet paint just because I felt like these bookshelves will get a lot of use, and I wanted something that was very durable. To get a nice and even finish, I applied 3 coats of paint, allowed that to dry, and installed the doors and the hardware. And because I can't hardwire any lighting into these bookcases, for my final touch, I will be using these puck lights I got off Amazon. The links will be in the description box. They're super simple to install. Just remove the paper, attach it to the light, remove the other side of the paper, and stick it to the ceiling. These lights even come with the remote for easy usage. The Billy bookcase hack is now complete, and here is the reveal. Although I was very frustrated in the process of making it, I do wish I could have truly got that built-in look, but honestly, they're still just as gorgeous. I love the way they turned out. Take a note from me: if you find yourself in the midst of a project getting frustrated and it is not turning out right, don't give up, but take a step back, reevaluate, take a break, because keep going just only frustrates you more. And had I had really taken a step back sooner, maybe I would have realized what was going on then instead of now that I've edited and completely finished the project. So I hope this encourages you to try something new. I've never done a project like this, and I'm pretty proud of myself for the first time. More than anything, I'm proud of myself for not giving up. We need to go shopping and find some things to put on it. I'm thinking thrift stores, home goods, maybe thrift flipping some items and making some really cool things to display on my shelves. Until next time, keep living sensationally.